Okay. Welcome back. Oh wait, I forgot something. Oh damn, sorry. Yeah, I always have my stream on in the background, just for sound check. Yeah, okay. Welcome back. It's time to build again. And last time we did this castle, and today I want to move on from that. And the original plan was to start building part of the city now. Um, Now, you remember when I said that I'm done reworking and that I want to make progress and finish this map? That you don't, or that you shouldn't keep reworking stuff because you get into a cycle of never actually finishing. Um, so guess what I did? I started reworking again, and so it's this wall. You see, it doesn't really look nice. It's just one plain texture with some grass and dirt mixed into it, but overall it's really simple and not so good looking. And so I thought, okay, I could add a little gradient. So I did that. The gradient is right here. I originally had two more darker tones in here that I ended up removing because it was too dark. And then I thought, okay, this looks nice, but the patches of grass and dirt still aren't that great. So I did one more thing, and I added some extra platforms with more moss, more focused placement, some new trees, and yeah, I mean, it looks way better now, but that also means that I still have basically the entire forest to rework. I have applied the gradient basically every single wall at this point. I've also added some pillars here just to make this part look a little bit more natural, because before those three pillars weren't there, and so it was just this curve out of nowhere, and that looked really bad. So yeah, I did that, and yeah, I started placing some extra platforms around the forest. And don't worry, I'm going to do most of these off stream because I promised that I was done reworking, and I may not have been able to keep this promise to you, to myself, but I will be able to keep it for you. But I still want to do part of this wall today in this stream for all those people who follow along, maybe want to gather some building experience, or I don't know, who just want to see the full process. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do for the first part of the stream today. Reworking this wall. And so the first thing that I should do is start building a mask consisting of all the stone blocks that are in the wall. Yeah, I've kept part of the gradient out here just so I can show it on stream today. Now, how you build a gradient depends on you. There is a feature in Axiom that lets you, what was it? Generate a color field. I can suggest that to everyone who struggles with gradients. Now, this is the gradient that I've picked. I have it down here. Inserted it into the gradient helper. Well, it's not there anymore because I restarted the game since, but you know. And after doing that, you can just export it to your gradient painter. Now I have removed two blocks from here. so it is a little bit less. Actually, maybe I should do that in here so that the values here are correct. Right, and then I just pull this one down and paint. Well, now I forgot to edit this interpolation, I guess. Yeah, interpolation. This just makes it so it looks a little bit more noisy, more random. Makes it look a little bit more natural. And yeah, I just paint all over the wall. And now, as you can see, we have a nice gradient. But of course, that is far from all, because these patches of dirt and grass still need to be manually placed. And what I did for that, as you can see, there are already some dirt and grass patches in the wall, and I used some of these and yeah, build them out a little bit. I can demonstrate what I mean by that. What patch of dirt do I take? This one, because it's right at this edge. I could make something of this. So first of all, take away the mask. Make sure that my UI is correctly scaled. So what was it? Yeah, I took the sculpt draw, made it a little bit smaller. 3 is good. And then brought up just some parts of the dirt. As you can see, now we have a little platform here. You can connect it to the wall using some more sculpt draw, and I like to smooth over it a little bit, at the bottom at least, so that it rounds nicely into the wall that we have. For this one though, I am going to do things differently because I like this extra dirt patch that we have down here. I would like to have 2 that flow into each other, if that makes sense. So yeah, I still do the same stuff, like pull down some sculpt draws, smooth over it from the bottom. And these are purely for visuals, so they are not meant to be explored. They should just look nice on the wall. Make it look a little bit more full, like it has some meaning to it, like it's more realistic. And so this is the point where I apply the mask again and paint over it using the gradient once more. But this time I forgot to update the mask with the new blocks. So yeah, do that first. Dirt, no dirt. Actually, it might be easier if I just take it from here. Yeah, so normal stone, andesite, cobblestone is already there. Coral block, terracotta I have, tuff I have, and deep slate. Okay, and if I take the painter again now, paint over it, as you can see, it's a lot lighter. It sticks out more. Though I feel like, yeah, this is better. Yeah, because the gradient fades quicker, so it goes from dark to light in a shorter amount of blocks. This part of the platform sticks out a lot more because it's way lighter than the parts around it, which is, in this case, the plan. Now we still have this dirt patch in here that doesn't look too nice, and I would like to have this one gone. And for that, I'm going to apply a new mask that consists of all the dirt blocks I have in here. So in this case, normal dirt, coarse dirt, and mud. And I just paint over them using whatever block it is that fits the wall that is already in the mask. Mask surface, of course, turn that one off, so that in case there are any dirt blocks behind, that they get replaced as well. And now we can go over and gradient paint it one more time. I could have done it after removing the dirt, but well, I didn't. And those blocks can be replaced by hand, no problem. Okay, so we have this little platform now, but it's still far from done, obviously. So what I like to do is I actually take some more of the dirt away, like this, and I like to place that completely by hand. And this isn't smooth. One click is enough, maybe already too much. Let me put down the radius a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, and now, sorry for... Oh, hey, Daoli, welcome back. I am painting the side of the small wall that we've missed, or that I have missed, when originally building or reworking the forest. And I still have the dirt mask applied. Little demo, this is how it looks once finished. I've done that off stream, and I still wanted to do part of this wall on stream just to show how it's done. In case anyone wants to learn from this or follow along, I don't know. Right, so after placing the gradient, we have a lot of dirt in here. And I still have masked surface on, oh my god. Yeah, as you can see, I am really, I really have my stuff together. I've prepared everything correctly. I did not. Okay, and now for this case, there are two things that you could do. For these blocks, I put grass on top of the already existing dirt, like this. You could also just replace the dirt with grass. Depends on what you are trying to do. In this case, I paint over it. Okay, so we have some grass in here now. And one thing that I really like to do is mix in some moss, because moss has a nice tone of green that I really like, and it fits the theme that I've prepared for this really well. Yeah, thanks, Dioli. Little tip from me. In this case, it's deine with an E at the end. Deine neue Map. That would be grammatically correct. Okay, so after adding some moss, what I like to do is paint the or make the dirt a little bit more nicer looking. And I like to do that by firstly taking some dirt itself and painting some little drips of dirt that maybe fall down, I don't know, depending on how you want to see it. Also, don't be afraid to come and to put some more dirt in front, make it independent of the stone behind, like this. Okay, this is a little bit too much maybe, but yeah, like this. Add to the rock, depending on how you feel, how you want it to look. And this is just a lot of trial and error. Try out what works for you. Figure out how much dirt you want, how much stone you want. And once you have enough dirt placed, I like to start with coarse dirt and place it more at the top part of what is already there. Like this. And then go over it with mud again and place it more on the bottom side. Like this. So we have a natural little gradient that goes from moss to grass to dirt to coarse dirt to mud with some extra blocks mixed in between just for the gradient. Thanks. I was actually considering to make this as a YouTube tutorial so that I could at least start making YouTube videos, like some easy tutorials, you know, how to paint and gradient stuff. So yeah, thanks. Okay, and once all the details are placed, what I would like to do is take some foliage like fern and short grass. The fern I usually like to place near the moss, like this. Don't be afraid to place it anywhere else as well. You don't need to follow this step by step there, of course. And the short grass more on the grass side. Make it full, make it... Yeah, place a lot of foliage like this. And as you can see, the color is still slightly off. And so what I did for that is I took out the biome painter, and it's actually quite simple. The plains biome has a nice green tone. Don't forget to remove the mask. And that looks much nicer, doesn't it? That's a great idea. Yeah, I like doing tutorials like this and teaching people how to build using their own imagination. So yeah. And now, of course, after all this is placed, there's still some room for maybe some moss carpets for more depth. What I also like to do, as you can see over here, not glowberries, sweet berries fit nicely into this color scheme that we have. And so I like to place some of those. And depending on how you feel, you might also add another custom tree. This is really simple. It's really just, let me actually show this. It really is just a simple stem like this. You can see it's just a few blocks up. Then some fences that are placed around the stem. Also not a complicated pattern. As you can see, it's just simple ones around. It's one block down. And then leaves just how you feel. Make sure that they cover the fence properly. And yeah, the bottom leaves could stick out a little more while the top leaves don't. So that it has this cone shape, you know? Yeah, and this is just basically how I go through this. If you place a custom tree, I also always like to place some extra pot soil because it makes the tree stick out a little more. Pot soil also mixes great with coarse dirt, which we have already placed, so this is a nice gradient that goes right from the more darker tones up to the lighter ones. And yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with that. Okay, now we have this platform, but there's still the top part left to be done. So yeah, I'll just shape it up a little bit, make sure that it looks nice. Then, as we've discussed earlier, I go through it using normal grass blocks, just place them on top. Again, this is more visual stuff instead of gameplay additions. This is nice to look at, not nice to play through, so keep that in mind. And yeah. Then again, some more dirt. Bring it down a little bit. Let it drip down the stones. Yeah, also what I like to do is make it run alongside the side of the mountain and keep the inside more dirt, more stone-like, as you can see here. The outside is full of dirt and grass, and the inside is still stony. And what this does is it makes it feel like the dirt is dripping down, like gravity is pulling it down, like it naturally would. Yeah, don't go too far, because at some point it starts to look unnatural. That's not what we want, obviously. Okay, and then again, simple gradient going from dirt to coarse dirt to mud. And of course you can use your own blocks. There's no need to copy the blocks that I use one-to-one. Try whatever works for you, whatever you are trying to create. And I'm sure it will work with some. I mean, it's building in Minecraft is always a lot of trial and error. If you want to learn, then yeah, you will have to figure out a lot, like how to use colors, how to see blocks as colors instead of just the blocks, how gradients work. Shading is also a complicated technique. It will take some time, but in the end it's worth it. And again, some fern alongside the moss. That's just the rule that I set up for this one. No reason to actually follow it, it just makes it have some more structure, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's nice. Moss carpets again. And do I place a custom tree on this one? I don't think I will. This is all it needs. Then again, let's not forget the... Oops. The biome. Biomes are really nice to use some extra colors. Usually I have a good example over here. Usually when you don't use biomes, I would also suggest editing your block palette according to that. As you can see, this is a lot darker in tone. And so I left the moss out because the moss has a natural color that isn't affected by the biome it's in. So you usually would want to place it in a biome where the color already fits. In this case, it would stick out too much. So I left it out. And as you can see, this works great. Still use the same techniques. And yeah, that's really it. Okay. Now I think I want to make this little corner first, just so that it's done. And yeah. So when I look at stuff like this, there's obviously a lot of room, a lot of places where I could start placing some platforms. Also, places like these that are already covered by a lot of stone could be used as some kind of cave. Hey, that's great. Yeah, nice to hear that. Thanks for getting new people in. Yeah, so parts that are already covered by a lot of stone, like this one, could be used as natural caves. Like what I would do in this situation is put a little dent in here. This can now be built out into a proper cave. Just want to look at not much gameplay in here. You can obviously also make it or also add a gameplay to this. I just don't. Yeah, in this case, I don't think it fits too well because of the platforms that are already below. But technically, if you have something like this standing alone, you can use this exact tactic to maybe paint this a little more colorful. Now this gets a little tricky because we have a lot of pot soil up here, and this is generally a slightly darker place. Hey Stick, is it okay if I just call you Stick? But hey, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Okay, so this little cliff here is very much a good place to maybe add a new little overhang. And what I would do in this situation, now the dirt already drips down a lot, which looks nice, but I think it doesn't fit too well in this very situation. So I like to use melt and just get rid of some of the dripping. Oops, I copied the wrong block, my bad. Get rid of some of the dripping blocks and then fill it up again so it looks more natural, you know. Yeah, so not too many dripping blocks is important because at some point it just gets too much and you need to keep that in mind. This is a good amount. This would make sense why there's a little cliff down here. And now again, I use a sculpt draw to make this part stick out a little more. You can, of course, also go diagonal. Doesn't need to be in a straight line like this one. Always depends on what you are trying to do exactly. So as you can see, this part already sticks out a lot. And yeah, now we have a darker tone. So I want to adjust for that by also using a darker block palette. In this case, pot soil, and mix that in with the original tactic. So again, placing some dirt, shaping the area in a specific way that fits whatever it is that you're trying to do. I like it to be a little bit more flat, so that's what I'm doing. But as I said, it doesn't need to be flat, can be diagonal. Yeah. Okay, we have a little platform. Paint over it using whatever block you have, whatever block you want to use. And again, adding some gradient to the dirt that we have. Wait, actually, maybe I should firstly deal with the stone gradient instead of the dirt gradient. Yeah, so as you can see, I've taken a lot of dirt away. I will now take out my gradient brush. As you can see, this is the gradient I use. It goes from stone to deep slate, and I used that to make this part stick out a little more. As you can see, the darker part starts a lot further up, and it grows up into making sure that this part of the mountain sticks out a little more because it gets lighter more quickly. In this case, darker. Yeah, the map will be multiplayer compatible, though it is a lot of work. Hey Monicon, welcome. I'm doing some texturing and making the worlds look nice. Yeah, so again, going back, placing some dirt down, making it look like it drips down the mountain. I really like this way of building. Making the grass and dirt look like it's dripping down makes it feel more natural, I feel like. Yeah, and then gradient again, I can actually just place it here. As you can see, it goes from moss to grass to dirt to coarse dirt to mud. And this is a nice, well, dirt-like or more natural gradient. Yeah, so we have dirt, then coarse dirt down here. Place it unevenly, like make it, some places have more, some places have less. And then some mud at the very bottom, like this. And as you can see, this is now obviously a lot darker. And with darker blocks, we also need some darker foliage, which in this case, I like to use the mangrove roots because they are already very dark. And it fits really well together with the pot soil. Also, as you can see here, soul soil is a very nice natural block that you could actually use as a replacement for the normal gradient that we have. Like this, you can see now there's not dirt dripping down, but soul soil. And that works well because of the new block palette that we have. Right now, obviously, finding some darker foliage is hard. Minecraft doesn't really have a lot of dark foliage, at least not in the current version that I'm on. I know that 1.21.5 has some nice blocks, but I'm not on that version, so we have to improvise a little bit. Pointed dripstone might be an interesting block to use, because it's already way darker than other blocks. No, it could fit, but then again, if we want to stay consistent with whatever it is that's placed at the top, the pointed dripstone might look nice, but it doesn't really fit, if I'm honest. Again, as I said, building in Minecraft is a lot of trial and error. Sometimes you will place something that seems nice and then find out that it isn't. But we have a lot of soil sand, as you can see here. So to keep the art style consistent, I will place some soil sand. And now you can see this one is a lot more simple, of course, because there's not much foliage to place. But we do have a nice little cliffside down here. Now I do think I want to get rid of the soil in here, because at this very moment it doesn't look very nice in my opinion. Yeah, that's better, I think. And we can actually keep going with this. As you can see, I have some parts that stick out more, like this one, and some that don't, like this one. This is really just a patch of grass right inside of the mountain. And that's what I would like to do with this little piece of dirt that we have right here. So what I would do in this situation, firstly, is actually remove all of the dirt, because I want to place that by hand this time. So now it's cobblestone, will be reworked later with the gradient that we have set up in here. But for now, it's important to place some pot soil. And don't do too much, just a little bit, like this little curve, as you can see here. We can go down a little bit, make it a little bit more thicker. That's nice. And from here, it's all the same again. Take out your gradient, whatever gradient you have. Yeah, and then this is literally just it. There isn't so much to it. I could still add some soil on the sides. Maybe this could help stick it out a little more. But again, these patches of dirt are not meant to stick out. They're just there for some additional foliage. And with how many patches of dirt there are in this wall, I don't want to have all of them have an extra side to it. So it's okay to remove some of them. As I said, don't do too much. So if you do too much, it could start looking too noisy. As you can see, this is already a good chunk. Right now, I think it looks great. There's a good amount of distance between the different platforms. So yeah. And some mangrove roots, I think, could work on here. though this is really close to the wall. Ah, that fits. Yep. Now this place right here looks like it would be perfect for some gameplay additions. Now, what do? Do I make this a little darker with pot soil, or do I go for the normal grass and moss type of look? Maybe a mix of both. Actually, I have an idea. So again, I take out my sculpt draw tool and I stick out the places that I want to accentuate. In this case, it is going to be both of these, and they are going to be very close together. Like this. And it's okay if there's some extra room in here. You could fix it if you don't want too many patches. Or you could leave it open and maybe have it as something like a little secret, an area where you could hide some stuff. Now this is supposed to go down all the way into the water. So no need to have an extra cave in here. So I take out my smoothing tool, move this up a little bit. Now be sure, if you use smoothing, this will make a lot of the mountain look very flat. So what I like to do is maybe go over it by hand a little bit, change up some of the blocks, fix up the block pattern. As you can see, also very important tip when doing some, what is it called? Terraforming, right? You have all these different blocks that stick out. But one thing that they all have in common is they follow a specific pattern. As you can see here, there's this wave, and on the block right next to it, there's this exact wave again. And here it is again. And one more time. And it keeps going like this forever, or until it hits a different wave, for example. And you want to make sure that when terraforming, that you keep these waves fairly similar to each other. One thing that could happen if you don't is, as you just saw in here, this looks weird because now we have one wave and then we have a completely different wave. And these two patches right here, these clash. So you would usually want to avoid having extra lines in here. Make sure that they all follow this similar pattern. And as you can see, this already looks a lot more natural. Okay, now this side obviously still doesn't look too great. So what I like to do is go over it a little bit more and just paint over it until I'm happy with what I have in terms of structure. We are not going for gameplay right here. We are not going for how the blocks are placed. This is just the structure. Block placement will be done later. And I think I like this a lot more. We have a bottom part, a bottom patch of dirt, a middle patch of dirt, and a top patch of dirt. Yeah, so I go over it using smooth again. Maybe remove some of the problematic blocks by hand. Because what smooth does is it works these different patterns into each other, but sometimes that doesn't work. So that's the point where you would usually do some stuff by hand. Again, as you can see here, I have this pattern again with the blocks. Very important. Okay, and I think I am actually quite happy with this. Now, what do we do? I think I'll take out the grass, paint over it at this point. So now we have two of those areas that we've just spoken about, the bottom patch of dirt, the middle patch of that, and the top. And both the bottom and middle one will be grass, and the top one will transition over to pot soil. Also, don't worry too much about having holes in here. It will probably happen like this, but that's always easy to fix. So just build for now and fix holes and whatever issues you have later, just so that we can make some actual progress and not waste too much time on the little details. Also, one more thing to keep in mind, pot soil doesn't suffocate. So you know when you place a block above grass, the grass disappears. This doesn't happen with pot soil. So keep that in mind when placing this block. It's very easy to mess up stuff by placing too much pot soil at once. Also, I just read in chat, translations for this map. I know that Minecraft has a translation feature. You can make stuff translate. The problem is that I don't know how to do that actually. I know that I think it works with data packs. And data packs is one of the few things that I actually haven't learned yet. I've started learning it, but I'm not quite far enough for that. So there might not be translations at the release of the map. So it will only be English. But yeah, we'll see about that. Maybe I'll add an update at a later point that adds translations once I've learned how to actually do these. But yeah, of course, I would love to have this map be translated to a lot more languages, make it more accessible for all kinds of players. But it's not that easy, sadly. But I will try. I will try. Okay. Also, this very flat wall might look intimidating and like you want to fix it, but you don't need to fix this. This actually looks fine. Most players won't realize that it's completely flat once because of the gradient that we have built in here. And on the other side, because the rest is so full of depth that it's actually quite easy to not see the little details. Okay, once again, I will go over this using my gradient painter. Let me actually make this a little bit more small. Like this. Yeah, this looks a lot nicer. As you can see now, this part right here sticks out a lot more for the simple reason that it's dark at this part. And you can see it really looks like this is a new part of the mountain that sticks up or out from this one. Also, what an amazing feature with Axiom. I can just paint stuff. That's actually so practical. I don't know if it's visible outside of Axiom. So if I paint stuff in here, if you can actually see it once you play the map. Maybe, maybe not. Should maybe try that out, right? Okay, now we have these two patches and I will do what I just talked about, adding gradients, adding details. For the pot soil part, I will do the same thing that I did with the moss, just using soil at this point. while also mixing in some soil sand. So yeah, this might look a little spiky, like it's going into the foliage in spikes, and that's okay. Okay, that looks nice. Obviously still haven't placed the dot gradient, so I might want to do that firstly now. Yeah, and this is kind of hard to explain, like it really comes natural to me, the way I place this dirt. It's some parts will stick out more, some won't. What I like to do maybe is add dirt in this wavy pattern that you can see. This could help make it look a little bit more natural, but in the end, this thing really comes down to just how you feel and how you make it. Also, please tell me if the music is too loud. I really can't hear if it's too loud for you. Okay. And then it's really just a lot of copy and pasting. Not really copy and pasting, but reapplying the stuff that you've learned all over the map or whatever it is that you're building. And yeah, that's also why it might get boring quickly, because in the end, you really are reapplying stuff over and over again. It's important to have multiple projects at once that you could switch between. Like right now, I am doing the side of the mountain, but I also have a full city that I want to build over here. So once I get bored of the mountain side, I can just switch over, and this helps prevent burnout, which is, I would say, one of the most common causes of why people don't finish their work. Burnout is really not rare, and you really need to watch out that you don't fall into this burnout, because it's always sad to have to build so many things and then not even finish them. So very important, if you feel like you need a break, take that break. Now this goes down a little bit too far at this point already. Maybe one here. This one is too far. That doesn't fit in. Oh, this is nice. Music is fine. Alright, thanks for telling me. Ah, that's annoying. Yeah. But I mean it's better to have the cars do some warning sounds. In the end, it could still be something other than the thunder. So just for safety, I would say it's nice, even though it is probably quite annoying when there's not an actual robbery going on. Okay. I think this looks nice. And so what I do from this point, again, adding some foliage, some greenery. Fern alongside the moss, grass on the, well, grass. Yeah. And moss carpets on top of the moss, and maybe even on top of the normal grass. Doesn't really matter. Just place it where you feel like there's some room left. Also, one thing that just came to my mind. Um, Let me find some leaf blocks. The color really fits. What if I take this and have some leaves falling downwards from this platform. That could look nice, don't you think? Oh yeah, I know that all too well. Losing the files for edited videos is so frustrating. But yeah, that's actually a quite a good reason to drop a project. Losing so much progress can be very frustrating. But yeah, that's really sad. This is why it's always good to have some backups. Do backups every day. Really, just do it. Trust me. It's not nice to lose so much progress. Okay, and the podzol part does look a little too empty right now. Is there anything that I could add? Large fern? I mean, large fern would make sense in terms of consistency with the upper part. Yeah, that looks nice. Also know that I've started placing leaves. Why don't I go around and place some more? Yeah, oh wait, I forgot to erase. Oh, that's nice. I think you can actually text. Yeah, you can write stuff. That's so cool. I really love this feature. Yeah, and this looks so full now. There's so much going on in this single view alone, which is exactly what I was going for. And I think actually we don't need more. At least not on this very side. So let me paint over the leftover dirt. I mean, it already fits in with the gradient, but I'm just for safety, I'm going to reapply the gradient. Also, very important to note, the gradient, wait, let me take this part, for example. The gradient, when you start placing it, it will create a line between where the original point is, like this one right here, and where your mouse goes. So if I now start painting, you will see that the gradient is tilted to the side. So keep that in mind when making a gradient over such a large wall, because if it's just slightly off, like this, you will end up having darker parts more. Well, that's just classical, but yeah, you can see you will have darker parts more at the top instead of at the bottom where they should be. So keep that in mind when applying gradients. It's really easy to. It happened to me a few times when going through this mountain range, where I would take this gradient, paint it, and at some point I would realize that the dark spots were up here somewhere. So yeah. Yeah, again, as I said multiple times, I'm also really glad that I did this step. I don't think I don't know what would have happened if you didn't come by at that day and get me to speak English. I don't know where I would be right now in terms of streaming. I think this has really helped a lot. Okay, reapplying the gradient just a little bit, making sure not to... Oh, this is already too high up. Feels like it, right? Ah, that's nicer. Also makes it stick out a lot more. Yeah, I was confused with myself because when I originally started streaming, the plan was to hopefully wait for someone speaking English to come into my chat and start speaking English to me. And the plan was to adjust from there on out. But yeah, when I saw your message in chat, I just kind of froze. You know, I don't know. Yeah, and then I wrote that message that I'm a little shy about speaking English, and yeah, then I think it was just because it happened so quickly and I wasn't really prepared to start speaking English so soon. So yeah, I would guess that's the reason. Also, why is there so much cobblestone down here? Have I missed something? Yeah, I mean, plan worked in the end, that's correct. Okay. Yeah, and this is basically how I go through all of the mountains in this map at this point. I will rework all of the caves, or not caves, but all of the cliffs that we have and make sure that this pattern is applied at all the parts where it fits. Yeah, and not having these weird dirt patches in here would probably help a lot to make this more pleasing to look at. Now the thing is, I was thinking that I could kind of build upon what we have right here. Making... Oh wait, that's the wrong tool. Making this one stick out a little, this one stick out, and maybe having a waterfall that comes from this side and falls into here. I'm not sure about that idea though. What do you think? Looking from here, I think it could actually work pretty well. We just go for it and hope for the best. Yeah, come on, let's do it. I want to place some more stuff in here before moving over to the city. Okay, just need to look out for how I actually want this place to look. So I've started a new CTM map that is quite different from the usual map that you would usually see in this genre of maps. It's actually played completely in adventure mode, which is very unusual. And the reason why I started reworking this entire forest is because I played this map and found out that like it's a really beautiful map. Like the building, the aesthetic of it, block palettes, whoever built it is really, really talented. And yeah, I took some inspiration from what they did with their mountain ranges and reapplied some of their ideas to this one, to my map. So yeah, this is stuff that often happens. As I said before, I like to look at other people's works and find inspiration in them to improve on my own stuff, my own works. And that's exactly what just happened. So yeah, I was really inspired to rework part of the mountain because of that map. Also, wait, let me just check the name of the map so I could share it with you. One moment, one moment. I have it right here. The map is called Ascended Shadow of Kingdoms. It just came out. Is a CTM map played completely in adventure mode. And I can really suggest checking it out. It's beginner friendly. It's really beautiful looking. It has some very unique mechanics. It uses the Minecraft gameplay and builds upon it. So it's its own thing. Not really normal Minecraft gameplay at this point. Also, no, your cat did not steal the seed. It just took the seed that is rightfully his. That's how it works. Yeah. Again, as I said, I'm not going to do the entire mountain range on stream. Most of this will be done off stream. I just wanted to do part of this now to to show how I do it. Maybe teach some building techniques. Yeah. If the cat sits on your chair, it is no longer your chair. Okay. Oh wait, one thing that just came to my mind that I completely forgot about. Biome painting. Just to make sure that the green part looks more green. Of course, I don't biome paint the darker parts because they don't need to be more lush. Okay. Now this already looks quite nice, but what if I bring it out just a little more? Yeah, maybe to this point. A little more. Also, one idea that I had is maybe some pillars sticking out of the ground. Like this. Does that work? Wait, I add it later. I think the idea is correct, but the execution doesn't work at this moment. So yeah, smoothing again, going over it with grass. Now here another example of of the terraforming line. These are not very similar to each other. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in this case, actually, I would like to bring this grass further to the front. And now, when looking at it again, well, still needs a little bit more. When looking at it again, we have this very subtle line. And it kind of continues in a similar pattern. So that could work. Though I do think this part needs to be brought out a little bit more. Yeah, that's nice. This one is already very close. Yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah, I was wondering because you suddenly disappeared without a message. So yeah, I thought it was something like that. Or maybe you're busy, I don't know. But yeah, no problem. It happens all the time. Or not all the time, but it does happen, so no worries. And actually the water is quite annoying right now, so let me... Oh wait, can I... How do I make it look different underwater? Um, Wait. What if I... What if I give myself night vision? That did not do anything. But okay, I actually don't need to be underwater. I can just do the stuff from here. You just need to make sure that those things are properly connected to the floor. Right, 0% might be a little bit too low. 25 is better. I can at least see where the water is. Oh yeah, that's bad. Yeah, it's better to worry about your family first. But that's bad, yeah. I hope everything is okay. No one got hurt. Yeah, having electricity shortages or outages today in our timeline is actually quite bad because so many things today rely on technology and power. So that an outage like this could actually massively hurt a lot of people. So I hope everything is okay. Oops. Okay, gradient painting over it again. Oh, I think I would like to have the darker parts start a little bit earlier. Yeah, that's good, I think. Okay, only 3 hours. That's better than... Well, it's better than any longer. Didn't know where I was going with that, but yeah. 3 hours is alright, I think. Even though it still should not happen. And as you can see again, now that I've applied the gradient again, these or these fields that I've now added all start or become lighter way further down compared to the overall gradient, which goes really high. And so what this does, it makes those platforms stick out a lot more. And that is usually what you want when you build these platforms, because it kind of seeks attention from the eye, and your eye will naturally fall on them. You will see the formation in the stone. Yeah, that's usually why we paint it like this. I guess those things would happen because the electricity lines are in some way connected to each other and need to be repaired in that order. I don't know how it actually works, but I would guess that it's for that reason. But I don't have grass in the mask. Okay, that's better. Okay, so the plan was that there is a little waterfall coming, I think, right out of this side. So how I would approach this is really simple. I just draw a hole in the mountain. And as we can see, the gradient is, or the radius in which I painted, the gradient is way too small, so that the old design pops up way too soon, which is not what we want. So oh, this is bad now. But I can deal with it. Or having no water is also really bad. Or what happened over there? Why did all of your things stop? Zero commentaries. Oh damn. Well, I mean, it could always just be that someone messed up. Maybe cut the wrong cable, I don't know. Yeah, but zero communication is bad. That's a weird way to handle the situation. Because losing water and electricity isn't a small deal. That could, even if it's just for 3 hours, that could seriously impact some people's lives. Yeah, weird decision to not give any commentary on that. I hope they had good reasons. Okay, so I think this will actually, yeah, it will extend to the outside, meaning that I will have to add some extra stuff right behind here. The further I go, the less I think that we are going to build the city today. Which is funny. Will we ever build the city? Will it ever happen? Well, that's the curse of having so many ideas. Please send help. Yeah, and that's also exactly why I warned you about not not falling into the habit of learning new stuff and reworking your old stuff. Because you will never stop reworking. It will go on forever. And you will never finish a project. Which is, well, I mean, it's harsh, but it's really the truth. Most people will who fall into this habit will probably not finish whatever it is that they are working on. Yeah, that's really sad, but I think in my case it's quite alright because I'm streaming this and this is what keeps my motivation up. But usually, please make sure that you don't fall into this habit. Yeah, exactly. They can't just be silent and say nothing about the situation. You simply can't do that with such a big occurrence. It's not like a power and water outage is something that you can just ignore. So yeah, I do hope that they give an answer, a proper one. Because everything else would be bad. It's already bad, but you know what I mean. Okay, so now we are back at detailing using dirt. And I was kind of on autopilot, so yeah, let me fix some of that. Yeah, this looks a little bit cleaner now. Yeah, that's alright. Okay, I like the pattern in which, or the the structure of the rock. Well, it's not really a rock, but you get what I mean. Sometimes I'm kind of mixing up words. So if I ever say something that's grammatically incorrect, or I use words that make no sense in whatever context I use, or even if I just make up words, please excuse that. I'm still learning. In German, it's very common to just make up words depending on what you're trying to say. Well, usually not, because all kinds of words already exist, but there are words that you can say that people just simply don't know. Even people who have spoken German for their entire lives will sometimes not know a word that you maybe use every day. So it's quite common to say words that seem made up in the moment. Because that's just how German words work. Like you know the memes of German having extremely long words. Those long words are really just combinations of different words. Just that we don't put a space in between them, which makes it harder to read, which is 100% our fault. We could easily fix that. But yeah, German is such a language that just, yeah, it seems like we just make up shit. Yeah, there are multiple words like that. German has some unreasonably long words. Don't worry about them too much. Really, most of the time, it's just a combination of a lot of different words that just happen to not have a space in between. So yeah. Okay, time to add moss again. I could have done that earlier, but I didn't. So we'll do that now. Also, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to use swear words, because up to this point I've kind of tried to keep up this image of not swearing, but I do still believe that it is a fundamental part of every language. And so I would like to not limit myself to only good language. But then again, I'm not quite sure. Also, I usually don't write very family-friendly stories in terms of themes and stuff. So it would only make sense for myself to not market me as someone who is family-friendly. So I'm kind of unsure as to how I want to speak in the future. Like, what's your opinion on swearing? Yeah, that could maybe help. But yeah, up to this point, I've really tried to not use any bad words. But I'm kind of getting tired of it, if I'm being honest. Oh, then that's a long word. Not so long in English, but that's a lot of characters. And I don't know how to pronounce any of them. Different alphabets are fascinating, I think. Having people use entirely different signs than what you're used to, and them knowing exactly what it means and making sense of it with no problem, while you just look at it and have no idea how to even read. Something about that thought is really fascinating to me. I think it's also what makes learning new languages so fun, because you get like this glimpse into a completely different world at that point. Yeah, I like learning languages that use different alphabets or different writing systems in general. Yeah, I mean that's true. Children these days are really using a lot of words that they maybe shouldn't use. Uh, yeah, but I don't know. It also depends on like keeping an image up, you know. I think I'll just have to decide on that. But I can warn you now that oh yeah, I see the grass usually that I place in the air. Uh, but thanks for reminding me. Um, wait, where was I? Yeah, as I said, take this as a warning. I may use good words when speaking on stream, but my stories and the characters in my stories are no strangers to bad language. So I think I will add an optional swear filter for the story of this map, because at some of the lore pages, I think I went a little overboard with the amount of bad words, which makes sense in the situation that the character's in. But then again, I know this is Minecraft. A lot of younger people play Minecraft, and even though younger people today don't use good language either, I still think it's important to like you have a responsibility when you stream or when you just make content in general. You have a responsibility, no matter who it is that you are talking to or making content for. It's important to maybe teach some lessons along the way. Yeah, complicated topic, but I'm trying. I will figure out how I actually want to speak someday. Give me some time. Yeah, I mean it's true. Like children like to be edgy, if you want to use that word. You know, would make sense. Children like to speak in ways that they think are adult. So it does make sense that there are a lot of children who like to swear. But yeah, as I said, it's not about um, who you speak to, but the lesson that you're trying to teach. No, that's the wrong tree. I'm just trying out of yeah, figuring out what tree could fit in here. This looks nice, I think. Yeah, you're right about that. Maybe I'll just add a disclaimer. I will definitely add a disclaimer because this story in general features a lot of darker themes. But I do know that there might be some people who are sensitive to that, and I still want people to be able to enjoy the map in terms of gameplay. People who don't want to experience the story should be able to do so. But with how the story is built right now, it is very much part of the visual storytelling. And so I might still want to add a filter for the people who want to use it. Yeah, that's a classic cat experience. I also had two cats. They don't worry, they're still alive, but I don't live with them anymore. So I do understand. I do understand that. If the cat is sitting on your chair, it's not your chair. Okay, I think I've been flying back and forth a lot, I know, but I think glowberries could really work. And I also want to add some pot soil below the tree here. Yeah, cats are great. But after what they have done to my mouse pad, I do think I want to stay without cats. They are funny, they are great, they make the perfect memes, but they also like to destroy stuff. And that's not something that I enjoy a lot. So, yeah, but I think in the future I will personally stay away from pets in general. Not because I don't like them, but for what I just said. Stuff breaks and sometimes it's out of your control, and that is what is bothering me. Yeah, cats are big responsibilities. In general, any kind of pet, you need to take care of them, of course. Yeah. Not really my thing to do, so yeah, I think it would be better if I stay away from pets, personally, of course. Okay, this tree now fits right in. I like this. Okay, I'll do these two platforms and then we'll move on to the city because I am starting to notice that I am wasting a lot of time. This cave, maybe I'll do it next stream, maybe I'll do it off stream. But yeah, plan for today was something completely different, and this whole mountain building session really came out of nowhere. Nah, the cat has won. No seat for you. Or not this seat at least. Okay, where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Ah, never mind. I'll place the dot firstly again. That looks nice. I think I'll leave these two as stones. Usually I would make them dirt, or grass in this case. But I do think having this part of the mountain interrupt the flow of the grass might be a nice little touch. Okay, that's some nice dot placement. I could also go over the dot using a gradient painter, but I think in this case I'll do it by hand because it's not too much and it gives me more control over where I place the blocks and how it actually looks in the end. Where did my mud go? Blocks just disappear out of my inventory sometimes. I think it's because I can't stop middle mouse clicking. Yeah, that would also be one way of doing it. Okay. Moss. And wait. One big thing I forgot again. Leaves. Though this one doesn't actually need leaves because there's a tree on top. This one will get leaves though. Or yeah, I have never had any wireless hardware. So that is completely unimaginable for me. Being able to stand up with your headset on? No way. Impossible. But I don't know, I might have a lot of problems with cables, but something about having a cable is really comfortable for me. But yeah, it's getting tempting, especially with technology improving. Sometimes I am thinking about moving to wireless stuff, but then I remember that that my PC doesn't actually support wireless hardware, and my Bluetooth stick that I have is kind of ass, if I'm being honest. I could get a new one, but no reason to do that right now because I'm happy with the gear I have. Yeah, I've always been a cable kind of person. Not sure why though. Maybe it's just what I grew up with, so it stuck with me. Oh wait, I already placed the dirt. That's perfect. Okay. Yeah, and I have actually, also, I've really dragged out the building of the city to this point. But in that time, I have learned a lot about city building in Minecraft. So I do think I have a good plan of how I want the city to look. So at least I'm not going to waste too much time thinking about what to actually build. Yeah. I don't know, since starting to stream, I've had a lot of motivation to keep this map going. And while I said that I don't really do any progress off stream, that is still true. There is also like it's become more part of my life to make progress on here. So yeah, streaming has helped a lot to get this map going. And I didn't think I would be willing to build off stream again. But here we are, reworking the entire forest again for the third time at this point. Yeah, I get that. My cables are also constantly broken. Yeah, but I don't know, I've kind of just learned to live with that. I want to build another tree on here. Also, one thing that is really, really annoying for me is that phones these days don't really have a port for cable headphones anymore. The, I don't know why they removed it. It's not like it's taking up so much space, but they have removed it. And what I did to solve that problem for me, I actually got a connector cable that I can where I can plug my headphones in and then plug that cable into my phone. But yeah, that's it's a complicated way of doing it. Getting an extra cable just for that. Yeah, I don't understand why they removed the cable port. Yeah, I usually when you see me play Minecraft off stream on Discord or I don't know wherever, it's usually I'm playing someone else's CTM map. I'm doing research or there's always something happening in regards of me learning how to build more or gameplay or balancing or whatever it is. But yeah, usually it's me playing a CTM map. And as I have recently stated, I have finished the entire Untold Stories series, which consists of 9 maps. And I've played through these maps over the course of, I think it was 2 years. And it has taken me, I think, 177 hours to complete 9 maps, even though I only completed 8 of them. I skipped one. I'm going to talk about that in my review of the map that I will someday do of the series. But yeah, that's usually what I do. And now after finishing the Untold Stories series, I will start Ragecraft, which I've been excited for a lot of time about this. My phone is from 2020, so yeah, roughly 5 years old. Yeah, but they've removed the cable port long time ago now. I still don't understand why, and I probably never will. This tree could be better, I think. Is it all right? Let me extend the leaves downwards a little bit more. Oh, that's a lot better now. Yep, I like this. Problem fixed. And one thing I was thinking about. Okay, I'm wasting time again. Stop this. I am going to build the rest of this off stream. Okay. Yeah, so good progress today. For this part at least. And I'm happy with how it turned out. I do think that this way of building is really beautiful. I love how these parts of the mountain stick out with some additional nature on top of them. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, I mean, of course it was fun. I wouldn't have played through 9 maps if it wasn't fun. Yeah, yeah, there were some moments that were not quite as fun, obviously, because some of those maps are really old. Some of them are not quite as well balanced. But in general, it was an incredible experience. I really, really enjoyed most of these 177 hours. Yeah, I also think castles are, in many cases, the most fun part to explore in a CTM map. I don't know why, but especially in the Untold Stories series, his castles that he built are so fun to play through. He has it figured out. He knows how to build proper castles. With so much variety in gameplay and many different mobs, such beautiful aesthetics. Yeah. Okay, so let me say this right now. The houses in the city will not all be perfectly square. So they will probably be slightly diagonal, simply because of the way this area is built. It wouldn't really work with normal square houses. Yeah, the flag might be a contradiction to what is actually going on in the story, but it looks nice, so we can keep it. Nobody is going to notice. Okay, so I would like to rebuild the layout using wool. And the wool will be the foundation of the houses, so it will probably extend outwards a little bit. Yeah. Let me just try out some things, see how it's going. And here, this is another good example of how houses are built. It's really just shapes put together and made complicated in a way. Like if I bring this one up closer to me, you can already see how this could turn out with some nice corners right around here. Let me extend this part a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. So here's the entrance. So what the player will see, I would like I would like the player to have a clear view of the inside of the city. So there will be a path leading down here, right around this corner, and this should all be visible to the player. So one or two more houses are not that close, but right around this corner. Yeah, maybe like this. Yeah, that's better. Actually, let me make it two houses. Also, we're not going to worry too much about the terrain at this point. This can easily be replaced or rebuilt. Okay, with this, here's some space maybe for a little park, maybe some marketplace. This could be used as a backyard of some kind. And the next house will be right here. And this can be a little bigger because, as you can see, there is a clear path would be blocked at this very block, meaning that the player can actually see most of these things. Yeah, just going to build over the terrain for now. It's not that important. Okay, also we need to make sure what the different districts of this city are. So we have the big castle over there, which is obviously the center of the city. Yeah, this will probably take a lot longer because most of these houses will all be custom built, house by house. So we will probably spend a lot of time in this city. So yeah, with the capital of or with the center of the city being right around this corner, I would like to go from the outer district, which is this one, to the inner district, which would be the bottom part here, and then the city part, which is up here, and down to that point. How many percent is done? Let me check. So we have this area is completely done. This area is around 70% done. This area is around 50% done. The forest really only needs the walls redone, so that's not too much. Maybe it's 80% done. This area right here is close to maybe like 10%, maybe 12, 15% done. Hey, Xolar, welcome to the stream. I am currently calculating how far in I am with building my adventure map in Minecraft. And yeah, there's some more errors down here. This is completely 100% done. And this one that we are building right now, yeah, roughly 50%. Well, the city is going to be rather big, so maybe tune that down to 40, maybe 35%. Yeah, so in total, I would, yeah, I guess you're correct with the 55 to 60%. Maybe a little bit less. I would say 45 to 50%. Um, Let me flatten up some of the terrain in here. Don't worry, it's going to be a lot better looking once I'm actually making progress. But yeah, again, welcome Xsolar. Welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am currently building a little city. Well, not little, but a city. This usually for building, I only use Axiom, which is the mod that you're seeing right here, this whole interface. It also makes my movement like this, gives me bigger inventory and a lot of just miscellaneous stuff. Yeah, from there on out, just the basic stuff like sodium for and iris for shaders. Or yeah, this version doesn't really have many mods set up. Yeah, but I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Oops. Okay, look, this is fun. Okay, I've selected the ground as well, but nothing I can't fix. Yeah, as new ideas come or come, this the progress in percent is going down. So yeah, we are actually losing progress instead of making it, which is really funny. Yeah, but that's just how it goes. Oh no, that's cursed. Let me keep it. Okay, for this one, I think I want the houses to be on this side. And this side right here could be just road and maybe a river. Not sure. I'm also still not quite sure about the interior. Yeah, exactly. Good things take time, and I'm confident that this map will be quite good. Though obviously it will still have some problems for the simple fact that this is my first finished map. Um, am I going too much on the, or am I doing too much with the uh, tilted houses? Maybe? Okay, this right here, I will actually keep free. This is going to be a little marketplace. Um, Going up here, this could also be part of the marketplace. And here's actually where the middle district starts. So much better looking houses, maybe even bigger ones. And that's just a square. Maybe I should also rebuild the road just to make sure. Oops. Okay, so at this point, we could decide if the road is supposed to go around on both sides or just on one side. I think both is good. Yeah, and then in terms of a way upwards, I would like to maybe have a little tower area that is kind of serves as a staircase, if you know what I mean. Let me smooth this out a little bit. Yeah. So again, don't worry too much about the terrain right now. This will receive a lot of changes from now on. Yeah, I don't have much planned in terms of like city structure with as I said last time, with the infrastructure, how they feed themselves and such things. No, again, this map will be played in survival mode. With the full freedom of Minecraft, where you can create or break blocks however you like. Which is actually the entire point of CTM maps, in most cases at least. There are some exceptions, of course, but usually CTM maps are played in survival mode. Yeah, terraforming is... I want there to be a house here, but there isn't really much space. So I have to make space. Okay, that's high enough. Okay, is that enough? Nope, it is not. Yeah, I don't have too many plans. The research that I did was mostly on like designs and ways to make the houses look nice. Maybe I should have spent a little bit more time looking at the structure of cities. Okay, this will be big enough though. Yeah, that's good. If I rotate it a little bit, it should fit right in. Yep, that's nice. And I do think I would like to have the same thing on the other side, like right here. Just need to make sure that I don't cut too much into this area right here. I'm going to do that at a later point. So yeah, there will eventually be, for once, this is going to extend a lot further downwards, so much more room. And then there will be some bedrock, what is it called? Walls and floors to prevent the player from exiting the map at some point parts. Yeah, Axiom in survival wouldn't really work. It's like world edit, you know? If you remember world edit, there was a time where people used to build with world edit. Yeah, it would obviously really help with the time consumption, but yeah, then again, that's kind of cheating. Well, it's not kind of cheating, it is cheating. But I mean, who really cares if it's a survival world in single player? And I wish I had a forever world, a survival world that I could always come back to. But I don't know, I never really got into normal survival Minecraft. I was always more on the creative building side of things. I want a house right here. Yeah, I mean, different people have different approaches to playing Minecraft. That's the nice part about this game. You can really play in whatever way you want. And I personally use Minecraft as a way of expressing my creativity. So yeah, usually when I have an idea for a story I want to tell or just something visual that I want to show, Minecraft is the number one, I would like to say, engine that I go back to using. It really is the thing that makes my ideas come to life. And I mean, you could, of course, make a lot of these things in survival mode. But yeah, as a person who likes to build adventure maps instead, that's yeah, that's a whole different kind of world. But yeah, I've always been fascinated by people who build a lot in survival mode. I think it's amazing to be able to find this motivation of opening the game and playing just normal survival Minecraft and still creating some things that could be considered masterpieces. Yeah, Minecraft is an incredible game. Yeah, I definitely treat Minecraft like art. That would be a very good way of describing it. You know, I wish I would have gotten more into real game development, but somewhere along the lines, I kind of stumbled into this game and it stuck with me. And I've not been able to escape Minecraft ever since. Maybe one day I will get into actual game development. Oh, that sounds interesting. Terraforming the entire end also seems like a big task. But I guess if you know what you're doing, that could very much be worth it. Okay, I want this part to be a tower upwards, so I'm going to reserve this space now. And yeah, I'm going to make the road be a little bit more closer to the, well, tower thingy that we have going on here. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm interested if you make progress on that, on your build. I would love to see it if you are willing to share at some point. That sounds really interesting. Yeah, using Minecraft as a way to or as art is, yeah, it's just what I like to do. Okay, my attempt at making a diagonal house by hand didn't work out. This looks really cursed. Oh damn, yeah, I must imagine if you want to also get rid of the end towers, that would take a lot of time. Even with the beacon, I think mining all that obsidian, that's quite a task. Good luck with that. I mean, but there's also a specific kind of magic in building in survival mode, because it is a lot more challenging than just opening my axiom. I'm trying to find the words. It is a lot more challenging than just opening axiom and creating what I want to create within just minutes. So yeah, that's a whole different kind of impressive, I would say. Yeah, the YouTube community post thing, to be honest, I kind of forgot about that. Um, that I don't even have an excuse. That's just what happened. I completely forgot about it. Uh, but yeah, most people also didn't see it, which makes sense because I don't think YouTube community posts are usually used as informing people that the stream is going on. Yeah, I mean, that's great at least that you already have enough progress that you want to hold on to that. I never made enough progress on my own survival worlds. Sorry if you heard that. I just tapped on my microphone accidentally. Yeah, I never made enough progress in my survival worlds where I would want to keep holding on to them. So yeah, that's already a good chunk of progress, I would say. Yeah, I definitely need to revive my Discord server. Also, finally translated to make up for my now English speaking approach. Yeah, I'm working on it, is what I would say if I was actually working on it. I try to find the motivation to work on it. Would probably sound better. I think completely diagonal houses like in a 45-degree angle might look a little bit too cursed actually. Yeah, but reviving the Discord, maybe setting up a bot that sends notifications when I go live. That is one way. And then I do need to find some kind of social media that where I could announce my stuff. But I do think it's kind of weird to just create a new account somewhere and start posting about that you're live now. I don't know. I don't feel so comfortable with that idea. Though it would probably work. I'm unsure about all this. Yeah, I mean, there's still more than enough time. Also, I haven't even started uploading videos about this map. So we are definitely still at the beginning. So there's not no really damn. There's no really reason to rush making progress now. No, I don't like this. But I would like to move it a little bit closer to the road to maybe make some space back here. I mean, it's Minecraft is you never stop learning in general. So I guess one good way of approaching that is by simply starting. And it might not look perfect at the beginning, but that's the whole point. You make progress as you go. You got to start somewhere, and yeah, that's it will take time, but just keep going. That's the most important part. Okay, with this being the top district, I want the houses to be really big. Like, this is where the wealthy families live. This is where the mansions are. This is where people may be in in direct contact with the higher ups and in the castle. Also, don't worry about writing long essays. That's completely fine. Better to write one long message than multiple short ones, in my opinion. I want to flatten this out a little bit more. Funny thing is, originally this wasn't even considered to be a city. The city was supposed to be behind the castle, but then I realized that I don't want to add another area. So yeah, I moved it up here. Um, I think it's my mentality from when I still did YouTube, where usually it's annoying to have one person write multiple comments. I don't actually know why I think that way, but yeah, usually when I see one person write multiple single messages, I think, okay, you could have also put that in one big one instead of making me have notifications every 5 minutes. Because I have all my notifications on. I like to read every comment I get, and yeah, it gets really cluttery and full of messages when one person starts kind of abusing that. And on Twitch, I guess it doesn't really matter because the live chat works a lot different than YouTube comments. Yeah, I don't actually know why I've kept that mentality. I mean, in the end, on a Twitch chat, it doesn't really matter. Write however you want to write. Um, I don't think so. This may be a fantasy world, but yeah, I would like all the parts that would normally be in a world, like living creatures and stuff, be interactable and have influence on the gameplay. And so I don't think I want to build like big structures in the sky that the player isn't meant to actually explore. I would rather have them as actual entities on the map, though that would be a lot harder to accomplish. Yeah, this is also my first map that I actually finish and upload or want to upload. So I'll keep it in a what is it called? I make sure that it's actually approachable for me to properly make this map, finish it, upload it. All those custom stuff could come at a later point with more maps. Still kind of annoyed that the grass doesn't regrow for whatever reason. No updates is turned off, so it should technically update, but it doesn't. Oh, my maps will always be completely free to play. And not only free to play, there will never be any subscriptions or any payments needed to play my maps. Yeah, I think it makes sense if you put a lot of effort and time into one project that you would want to like get money for that. But especially as a small creator and someone who isn't well known in the community, it would probably literally nobody would play my map if I were to charge for it. And I also don't think that I would want to get money for it even if I could, simply because I built on one side for my own entertainment because I want to tell stories, and on the other side because I want to add to the community that I'm building for, which in this case is the CTM community. Yeah, and paywalling maps is would not help with my growth in any way. Yeah, let's add some horse armor, some cosmetic skins just for $10 and a subscription. Yeah, and DLCs, new areas on day one. No, that won't happen. When the map releases, it's complete. They might remake it at a later point. But the first map that gets uploaded is the full experience. Nothing else to add to that. So we have a lot of space right at this edge. And I am thinking about adding a little river that flows maybe alongside even this marketplace road. We could do that. Maybe make the river flow into here, have a little lake in this place. No, CTM stands for complete the monument. Or am I misunderstanding what you're trying to say? Oh, sorry, Xsolar, I've missed your message. Yeah, you could send it to me on Discord if you want. I have my Discord server linked, I think, on my Twitch. Let me actually check real quick. Oh no, is it going to play sound? No, I've muted it. Good. Give me a moment. I will check if I've actually set up everything properly. Yeah, I'm still new to this, so some jank is to be expected. Information. YouTube, yeah, there in my socials tab on the panels, there's a Discord link. Also, just a reminder, the Discord is very work in progress. Wait, let me turn off streamer mode. I can't see anything. Okay. Yeah, the Discord is very work in progress. If you join, you probably won't understand anything that is going on there. I'm planning to rework it. Yeah, I'll give you a rank real quick. Yeah, ignore all of what you're seeing right now. I will completely remake this entire server at a later point, just not right now. Okay, I want that to be a gate that leads to the place where the castle is. Maybe, but I mean, the CTM community is not really big, so most people who are interested in new maps will probably play this one already. And I don't like the adventure map community, especially on YouTube, has died down a lot. So I don't know how YouTubers would react to that if I tried to advertise my map to them. Yeah, okay, I mean, in that sense, you're correct. I didn't quite get that when you first said it. Yeah, Xolo, you should be able to see me on Discord. I'm at the very, or like this in the general chat. Oh, yeah, I see what you're doing, like digging out underneath the portal. That's some good progress so far. Also good that you have a beacon. This would take so much longer without one. Though I could suggest enchanting your gear, maybe. That could also. How do you have a full emerald beacon, but no enchantments? Did you just create that gear? Like craft it? That would make sense. Wait, actually, let me remove this and use the smear tool instead. Yeah, that's better. Oh, you have them turned off. Okay. Yeah, my bad. Didn't know that. I didn't even know that you could turn them off. That's actually good to know. I'm interested in seeing where this will or how this will end up. Seems like you have a plan so far with the stairs leading up. Could be interesting. Okay, wait. I need to remove all of this again and do it all in one motion so that, yeah, like this. This is a lot better. So this will be the entrance gate to the castle area. So this is also where most of the houses will stop. Let me open this up. And we will have some extra buildings right here, like a little extra castle, some fortification for safety. Wait, there's a trim on your netherite armor? I don't even see it. But I guess netherite on netherite is hard to see. Would make sense. Okay, this right here actually was from the very beginning planned to be another fort, a castle. So this will be slightly different from the one that we have down here, because there's a lot less space to work with. So it will be more, it will go further upwards. Will probably just be one square on the bottom and then branch out with different like arms going in different directions. Oh, yeah, now I see it. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Netherite trims on netherite armor is definitely a flex. Interesting idea. Though it's really hard to see. Okay, now I want to connect these two. And you know what? Oh, I have the perfect idea. How about I just get rid of this entire mountainside and instead replace it with the decoration, with rooms for the castle. Yeah, and it could also stick out to the public areas, like going all the way down here. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I enjoy this. Let me smooth it out a little bit. Okay, okay. So this means we have a lot more space to work with now, which also means this can still be the entrance right here, but there's now a lot more space that goes right over the mountain. Actually, I think I want to make it a little bit more uneven, more formed naturally to the mountain, with some overhangs here and there. Oh, you know what? I think this is actually going to be the first building I built in here, because I really love building castles and stuff. Things like this are always so fun to build. Okay, okay. But this can actually go a lot more upwards. And connecting this, I mean, maybe I could also build a bridge, like a viewpoint that where you can look over the city. Actually, this is a nice idea. Because from here you have view over the two important districts, the rich and the middle class. I like both. I like the process and the finished product. Yeah, the process alone is already fun, but it has happened way too often where I start projects and don't finish them. So maybe I would even go as far as saying that I enjoy the finished project or finished product a little more than the process. I know most of the process, I just don't know the finished product. So that could be a lot more interesting. Also seeing people react to the map, play through it, give some reviews. That is, I think, where the real fun begins. But of course, building itself is the main part that I enjoy. Oops, that was the wrong button. Okay. How high do we go? Not too high actually. It's already really far up. Yeah, so what I'm imagining right now is this could be built out of stone bricks, like fortification reaching down into the mountain. And people can walk on platforms on here, have a view over the city, and then there will be a bigger fortress right in the middle of this place. And that would be very fun. I would love to watch that. Yeah, I think seeing other people play this map is going to be my main goal when uploading. Because in the end, like I want to tell stories to inspire people to like maybe give some advice, tell some philosophical stories that people could learn from. And so, of course, seeing the result of people actually experiencing what I've prepared for years will definitely be a very big point of the creation. Um, I'm not sure about that. The way this world is set up right now, there wouldn't hot air balloons wouldn't really work, to be honest. But the players, of course, once they finish the map, they can freely go into spectator or creative mode as they want. I won't build any restrictions with that regards. So if you want to explore the map after finishing it, or even before finishing it, I don't care. As long as you're having fun. If you want to explore the map, then please just go for it. Yeah, I will not be building in any restrictions that stop the player from experiencing the map however they want to. If the player says they would rather have a different experience, then they can freely do so. I always get annoyed when maps try to blame me for cheating in any way. Like I usually like to play with keep inventory on, though most CTM maps have keep inventory turned off. And yeah, sometimes it happens like when once it happened where I didn't realize that my keep inventory was turned off, and I lost part of my inventory while playing the map. And then I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to creative mode and fly there. Give me back my stuff. Turn on keep inventory. And the map for real gave me an achievement that said cheater for going into creative mode. I mean, there was no prevention. Like nobody stopped me from doing it, but it was still kind of annoying. It's like calling people out for trying to have fun. Okay, with this we have a little platform. You know what? I'm actually going to close this off right now. Do I use flood fill? No, 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 no. All right, have fun, Dioli. And thanks for being here, for sticking around. And yeah, I'll see you next stream then, hopefully. Okay, so now we have this platform that the next part of this fortress is going to be standing on. At this point, how do I place this? So there's obviously going to be some room between one fortress and the other. They're just loosely connected in a way. So there is supposed to be a walkway that... Oh wait, I have a better idea. I have an even better idea. Yeah, that works. So the fortress builds up and the platform only begins like halfway through. So this is like a little what is it called? Not backyard, like the yard of a castle that you can only enter from the inside most of the time. So yeah, an entrance right here. And this leads to the platform that the player may explore freely. Okay, let me drag this one up. I don't know how high it will actually go in the end. It's still undecided. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, that's great. Entrance will probably be here. And there will be another platform right here with a little balcony that you could use to watch over, well, in this case, not really the city, but more the castle and the bridge. Okay. So yeah, we can already see this is taking a lot of shape. And building this will be complicated, but I think it will also be extremely fun. I love building castles. Yeah, this also, it looks really majestic how it like towers up right above where people live. Like, of course, it's all in yellow wool right now. This is going to be replaced later, but so far, yeah. Also, I need to be sure that it's not too high up because most of this area isn't actually fully modeled. You can look over the mountains right here, see my be right back sign. But I'm going to build more from the outside. Like the out of bounds will also be fully built. One thing that is actually in a weird way important to me is having an explorable out of bounds zone. I am the kind of person who likes to break maps, see how I can escape, and just explore parts that weren't meant to be looked at by the developers. And so I want to make that possible in this map as well. By having like a fully built out of bounds area where there's nothing to find, but it's still an area that isn't really meant to be explored, but could technically still be entered. Okay. So I am thinking, do I do I build inwards or outwards in this case? Yeah, sure, I will definitely add Easter eggs to all sorts of things. No, I won't make it like full of Easter eggs, but here and there, some of them, sure, why not? Okay, yeah, building this out a little bit might actually work. This could be connected to a different tower right here on this side. Or why are you asking about Easter eggs? Do you have any any specific ideas? So I'm kind of struggling. Do I make the towers round or square? I think it depends on what kind of tower you're building, but I'm still not quite sure. Oh yeah, definitely. Stuff like this will 100% be added in this map. Not exactly this, but yeah, I also love like exploring the outside, finding some leftovers from development. That's always some of the most fun I've actually had with many games. Even if the game is really good, exploring the out of bounds is it feels special in a way. Because in that moment you're looking at something that wasn't meant to be seen by you, and also probably most other players haven't seen. But it's kind of like an exclusive view into the development process. Eight-sided, yeah, that could actually work. Yeah, to be honest, this one isn't. The idea's there, but it's not quite ready yet. Eight-sided, you say that would be. Okay, yeah, that would be eight-sided. I just had to extra double check. Yeah, something like this. Of course, a little bit bigger. So 3 wide or 4 wide. Oh, 3 wide could work. Yeah, actually that's enough space. Let me use that. Kind of like a diamond shape. Okay, now I just need to find a way to make it look nice in this. The most cool build I've ever done. That's a hard question. Well, it depends on what you consider cool. Um, I do really enjoy this forest that I've just recently finished, actually. I like the aesthetic of it. I'm actually thinking, I don't think in terms of like maybe castles, maybe cities, but I usually am a person who likes to build environmental stuff like nature. Yeah, blackstone to stone is actually the plan. I have the gradient laid out down here. I probably modify it a little bit, but yeah, something like this. So yeah, I usually build natural stuff, um, which in this case would be here the upper forest, which I am really proud of, with this leftover from an old civilization. The middle part of this forest, which is just really lush looking and full of trees and all kinds of nature. Earlier this stream, I was actually building these little sites, these grass and moss patches. Yeah, I'm actively improving at building, so yeah, I would say my coolest builds are actually the newest ones. Because my older builds, while they also, I think, look quite nice, have visibly aged a lot when compared to my newer stuff. As you can see here, this is the first area I've built. And yeah, I think it's definitely noticeable that there's some old stuff lingering around, even though I have tried to freshen it up a little bit over time. Oops. I have right-clicked. Where is the right click? Well, it's somewhere. Or did I hit the tree? Well, and anyways. Yes, smooth stone is also a nice block that I would like to use. I think like this castle is one thing that I also really enjoyed building. I don't want to show too much, but this is what I would consider cool, even though it's not quite finished. It's just most of the base structure with some slight decorations. Yeah, and this one right here also looks really nice, I think. Yeah, but actually that's quite a hard question. Yeah, of course. The roof will be textured. As I said, it's just the framework and some slight decoration is done right now. Didn't do any texturing yet. Okay, so I will take this ring tower thingy, extend it down, but I want to add more. Oh, wait, never mind. I didn't properly connect it to the to the building. All right, see you soon. Though I must say I will only be streaming for 15 more minutes. So if you're not back by then I guess I see you next time. Or yeah, next stream will be on Thursday, same time again. Okay. Yeah, this is taking a lot of shape, but I do want to add more of those round towers because only having one isn't, I think, enough. It would look kind of out of place if there was only one. Maybe right on this side, built into the castle. Yeah, this could be fun actually. And that would then obviously extend downwards to the living area. Of course, I'm aware the wool right now is sticking into the ground. It will be replaced later, so don't worry about that. Okay, how high should the tower go? Is this good? I mean, I could still rework it at a later point, so no need to worry about that too much now. Okay, and actually, I want to add one more on the other side of the bridge. Right. Is this a good point? This could be a great place. Or more on this side, inside the mountain. Or even here. maybe? Tower placement is hard. Yeah, I think this is the best place where I could add it right now. I'm building out part of this by hand because I don't want to overwrite too much of the terrain. Though it doesn't really matter because if it's inside, well, that's the point. It's not inside. Oh, anyways, now it's too late. Okay, maybe I should have put it at the top from the very beginning and then stack it downwards. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, tower these ones up. Same height, correct. Maybe a little lower on this one. Connected to the tower. Oh yeah, yeah. This is nice. Oh, exploring this could be so fun. I know I'm glazing a lot at my own stuff, but I you gotta keep in mind, I am usually the kind to place these maps. This is my first CTM map, so seeing the stuff that I usually find fun to play as something that I built myself is a kind of feeling that is hard to describe. Like, I want to play through this right now. Yeah, hard to describe, but I guess it's just the right feeling that I have with this map. I have a feeling that this will be better than I originally expected. And you know what? I'm just going to keep holding on to that feeling because it gives me confidence in building. Okay, so what we have right now, wait, let me actually just connect this one so it looks better. So what we have right now, when you come from the city, you follow this path and you see this massive structure. You can go around. There's an entrance here, which I think is nicely placed. I like the way it fits in with the mountain. Kind of cozy with the big towers right next to it. You can go up, have some view of the backyard, which of course will be updated later. Here you have a full view of the city, except for the poor district, for the I don't even actually know what I'm going to call them. Gonna decide on that later. Oh, that's not nice. Okay, and then once you go up, you have one view of the bridge. You can go further up. Here you have probably, well, not the highest tower, but one of them. Here will be a path to go through that leads right to this tower. And if you cross the bridge, there will be a connection at the very top that you can go over to reach this rather small part of the fortress. Okay, I've noticed that I am not taking enough screenshots. I like to have screenshots as reference pictures for when I make progress. You know, having a before and after. I need to take more pictures. And I also want to extend this platform a little bit so it fits more nicely in with the mountain. I could actually at a later point add like a little wood bridge that connects these two viewpoints. Oh, I could spend so much time with this fortress alone. It's crazy. Yeah, this is exactly what I meant when I said that the city will take a lot of time. The city aspect is just one of them, and that will already take a lot of time with all these different houses that all have different sizes and structures. Yeah. Also, I might do some off-stream work just to just to optimize all of this a little better. Prepare for building houses next time. So next time I will definitely spend that time building this fortress. Yeah, this is my immediate next project. And from there on out, we are going to looking how it goes. More than enough time to keep going. Okay, now we have this platform right here that extends inwards for a little bit. But I would like to actually have another building right at the edge over here. And this can go a lot higher. Yeah, maybe even to this point. Just so there's a little bit more to explore. Okay, okay. Kind of want to keep going. um, okay, so then there will be an entrance, maybe right here. I would like to have a staircase upwards that would probably take this space, which means that the entrance will be more on this side. Tower entrance will be further up, so you will go up here, maybe have a bridge that is connected to the tower. Yes, YouTube, I am in fact still alive. Okay, how do you enter this part though? From the back would make most sense because that's the most secure part in here. I mean, this is the official entrance. And from here you can find your way over to this point. But for everyone working like in this building, in terms of world building now, this would be a very long path they would have to take. So it would probably make more sense to have a second entrance. Oh, I have another idea. I will push this one outwards a little bit, this wall, and then the entrance will be right on this side. And I wanted to push it out so the wall isn't like right next to the entrance. so that there's maybe 1 block of room in between. Yeah, this is going to be an entrance. There's going to be a way upwards. Also, I think this is going to be another like platform that soldiers would use to look upon the city or the bridge. The bridge will be quite a little bit higher. Yeah, maybe like this, and then there will be a connecting building in between those two. Let me take my smear tool. Oh, that's good enough. And from here, I am going to stack this one up. That was not quite correct, but yeah, like you see the vision. There's this massive gate, then buildings towering up on the bridge. This is 3 blocks, another 3 blocks. Make this a little bit higher. Connect these. And yeah, this can then be connected, maybe even with another tower like this. Oh, this is, yeah. I have a good feeling about this castle. Let me extend this one downwards a little bit because I think the gate is a little bit too big. Yeah, and then of course, there will be some of these things going on that maybe connect. Or even not. I don't know. Okay, right now this looks cursed, I'm aware. But I have an idea, trust me. This is going to look great. I'm just making it even for now. Oh, this is quite cursed, isn't it? But well, I mean, from the bottom, it doesn't look so bad, so I guess it makes sense in a way. No, I'll make this one look better at a later point. Oh, this is quite the structure now. Let me just fill this up for the screenshot later. And yeah, now you have an entrance right here, a path through here. Oh, this connects perfectly. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, and of course there will be some rooms going on inside the wall. Oh, is that such a nice idea? Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I know I'm changing a lot right now, but maybe that's not so great, actually. If I just leave this as one bridge, that could still be great for gameplay. With one area going across here, right? Mobs on top of the bridge. This could actually be a connection. I'm not going to build it right now, but yeah, there could be a connection. Okay, I'm saying I'm not building it right now, and then I'll continue to build it right now. The connection going down, right to the other side. Maybe an entrance right here. Oh yeah, this is going to be such a complicated building. Yeah, this will also be probably the biggest castle I've built, except for the obvious one. Those two are quite small compared to this. And then again, I also like my little towers that go like this. These could be interesting for gameplay, especially. But I'm not sure where to place them right now, so I'll leave them out for now and add it at a later point. And we have passed the 7 p.m. mark, so yeah, I'll leave it at that. We've made some great progress, even though most of it was just planning today, and the other half was building stuff that wasn't even meant to be built on stream. Great progress nonetheless. So yeah, I'm very interested in seeing how this turns out at the end. Damn, you can see it from here. Okay, not from the gameplay part, but can you? I mean, when it's built up, you will probably be able to see the tower over there. But yeah, I'm quite satisfied with most of this city. Obviously still needs some work, but the basic idea is there. Okay. Yeah, I have this talent of dragging out the end of stream a lot, and I'm very sorry for that. I don't know, I need to stop. I was about to do it again. Next stream is, as I just said, going to be on Thursday from... Okay, let me get the time zones right this time. From 4 to 7 p.m. Central European time, which is... Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I need to look it up. I'm sorry. Which is UTC +1. Because we are in summertime, and for some reason, seasonal time changes still exist in 2025. Okay, just for recap, I need to practice this. Okay, give me some streams. I'll have it down at some point. Next stream is going to be on Thursdays from 4 to 7 p.m. Central European time. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, evening, night, or whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you guys and girls next time. Sorry. The struggle is so real, man.